Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniela and today I am going to be picking my July TBR. It has been a while since I've done one of these videos purely because I've just been mood reading and picking up books that I fancy. But what I have noticed is I'm not reading as much as I used to when I had a set TBR. I thought I would do a mid-year reset and I would set myself a TBR for the month of July. However, because it is a mid-year reset, I want it to be random and I want it to be across a range of genres. So, what I have done is I have a box and I have put in a bunch of genres on little pieces of paper and we're gonna pick from the box. I'm gonna pick 5, maybe 6 genres, and then I will pick the books based on the genres. The genres in the box are thriller, I can't not roll my R's. The genres in the box are thriller, romance, fantasy, horror, lit fic, sci-fi, translated, graphic novel, non-fiction, and classic. Just gonna give this a little shake. And then I'm gonna pick a book. First one is a classic. Probably the last thing I wanted to come up on this piece of paper. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know. Okay, so I have to pick a classic. Book number 2. Shake the box. Going in. Book number 2 is going to be in non-fiction. Probably the second least thing I wanted to come out of this box. This is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Book number 3 is literary fiction. Book number 4 a graphic novel or manga. I'm happy with this. A nice easy read, hopefully. Book number 5 is a translated book. This is gonna be so much fun. Do we go for a 6th book? I feel like we've got a few short books in here, so I think we're gonna go for book number 6. And book number 6, the final book for the July TBR, is a thriller. So we got no fantasy, no romance, basically all the easy things that I would normally go for. So it is a reset, it's a definite reset. I don't think I have read any of these types of books recently, so it's going to be an interesting month. Okay, so I have my 6 genres. I am going to go away and I'm going to find books that match the genres and I'm going to come back and show you what I've picked. Okay, so I've picked my books. 2 of them are on Kindle, so I have my little stack here and I'm just going to go through them in the order that they came up. So the first book that came up was a classic and I have chosen Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This recently got mentioned on some reading sprints that I did and my partner Andy has also read it in the last couple of months. Apparently there has been 2 movie adaptations for this film and I love to read a book and then watch the film, so that is half of the reason why I picked this book. The other reason is it's a nice short one. It's just over 200 pages long and the synopsis for this one says that a plane crashes on a desert island and the only survivors, a group of schoolboys, assemble on the beach and wait to be rescued. By day they inhabit a land of bright fantastic birds and dark blue seas, but at night their dreams are haunted by the image of a terrifying beast. I'm not going to read any more of the synopsis just because I don't like to know much about my books before I go into them. The only knowledge I had of this book prior to just reading that is that it's a bunch of young boys stranded on an island and it's horrific. I'm very interested to read this. Next up for my non-fiction pick, I did struggle with this one because I don't have many non-fiction other than autobiographies. But after many a back and forth, I have decided to read The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. This is a book that I have on Kindle, so I'm just going to read you out a bit of the synopsis from Goodreads, which says, in 1942, with the Nazis occupying Holland, a 13-year-old Jewish girl and her family fled their home in Amsterdam and went into hiding. For the next 2 years, until their whereabouts were betrayed to the Gestapo, the Franks and another family lived cloistered in the secret annex of an old office building. In her diary, Anne Frank recorded vivid impressions of her experiences during this period. By turns thoughtful, moving, and surprisingly humorous, her account offers a fascinating commentary on human courage and frailty, and a compelling self-portrait of a sensitive and spirited young woman whose promise was tragically cut short. This is another short one coming in at 283 pages, and it's just one of those books that I've always been aware of, and I think it would be very interesting to read. The next book was a literary fiction, and for that I have picked The Next Person You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. This is the sequel to The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, which I read a couple of months back. So I'm very excited to get to the sequel because I gave the first one 5 stars, and I want to read more of Mitch Albom's books. Again, this is another short one coming in at just over 200 pages again. Next up is a graphic novel or manga, and I have picked up a graphic novel which is called This Was Our Pact by Ryan Andrews. This is a graphic novel that was recommended by Alison Pages. Apparently it's very wholesome and heartwarming. I thought it would be a good idea to add something a little bit lighter to this TBR in light of the book choices I have made. So I am hoping this provides some form of relief. Next up is a translated fiction, and I have chosen Heatwave by Victor Justin. This is the shortest book on the list at just over 100 pages, and this book is about 17-year-old Leonard, who is on vacation and he decides to go for a walk late at night, and he comes across someone who is in the process of hanging themselves. Leonard watches this happen. He then panics and buries the body. The following day is the hottest day of the year, and Leonard spends it trying not to unravel. The synopsis for this sounds absolutely insane to me, and I'm very intrigued. And for the final book, which is a thriller, I chose Hide by Kirsten White. Now, this book doesn't have great ratings on Goodreads, but I'm very intrigued by the premise of this. The synopsis on Goodreads says, the challenge, spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize, enough money to change everything. So all the contestants of this competition have to do is hide in this amusement park. What they don't realise is that it's a little bit more sinister than that, and people start disappearing. It says a high stakes hide and seek competition turns deadly in this dark supernatural thriller. Oh. I wish I hadn't read that line. Okay, so slightly disappointing that the synopsis told us it's a supernatural thriller, because that is not what I was expecting. I will give it a go. One of the things I would like to start doing more is DNFing books if I'm not enjoying them, because I have a really bad habit of trying to push through, thinking that it will get better, and then just not enjoying myself. And I have a lot of books to read, so I need to start DNFing when I'm not enjoying a book. So I will bear that in mind when I'm reading this TBR, and we will see how we get on. I feel like this stack looks great, and I'm very excited to dive into it. Plenty of short books there, so if I do manage to finish them all before the end of the month, I can pick up some other books. I would love to know what you are currently reading. Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, if you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you next time.
Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch.